Hi, I'm Andy Glass with WorkshopAddict.com. Today we're going to have a brushless compact trim router shootout between the Makita and the Ridgid. We're going to bring you in for a closer look. We'll compare and contrast the features between the two units. We'll talk a little about my impressions and how we utilize these tools in our shop, and then ultimately which unit is right for what demographic of consumer. We'll start out with the size of the unit. The Makita is a little bit taller than the Ridgid. They're both about the same footprint, about 3.5 by 5.5, and the Makita comes in a little bit heavier at 4.6 pounds with a 5.0 amp hour battery, and the Ridgid comes in at 3.1 pounds with a 5.0 amp hour battery. Makita has 380 feet of cutting using a 1/4 inch straight bit at a 5/32 inch depth in red oak, and Ridgid has 400 feet of laminate trimming, and both units use a 5.0 amp hour battery for that testing. Now it's a little bit apples to oranges. Like I said, we both have multiple batteries in the shop, so runtime isn't a huge deal for us. The power switches between these two units are complete polar opposites. The Ridgid features a traditional mechanical switch. It's kind of hard to see, it's kind of out of the way. It's tough to get at, that's kind of good and bad, but you simply pull it out to turn the unit on and push it in to turn the unit off. Makita has a 2-stage electronic power switch system. When you're facing the unit, the left button turns on the unit and allows you to activate the LED light that's on there. And then the far right actually turns the unit on and allows the motor to spin. If you press either button, it will shut them off and will eventually time out, and you'll have to restart that 2-stage procedure. The Makita has 2 LED lights on there that are very bright and help illuminate your cutting area, while Ridgid only has a single LED light. Let's talk a little bit about motor and power. Both have brushless motors. Makita features a BL brushless motor that's built in-house. Makita's been building brushless motors for a long time and are world-renowned for different industry applications. Both units are variable speed. They have a dial on each of the units located in specific places that you'll see in the pictures. The Ridgid unit is 17,000 to 25,000 RPMs via a speed dial, and the Makita is 10,000 to 30,000 RPMs via speed dial. Now these are compact trim routers. They are intended for light to medium duty tasks. Both units have adequate power for their intended applications. Heavier edge profiling and light to medium mortising work were not a problem for either of these units. For heavier tasks that would create more dust, we would highly recommend the Makita due to the dust collection abilities that we'll get to in a little bit. And for those heavier tasks, you're going to want to upgrade your router and get something a little bit more power and more suitable for those type of applications. As we mentioned earlier, Makita is a little bit heavier, and that's due to its aluminum housing and base. It's all metal construction. When you compare that to the lighter Ridgid, that has a plastic housing and a metal sub base to it, and then both have plastic actual bases to them. Both units have polar opposite depth mechanism. The Makita features a rack and pinion design. It's fast and smooth, but there's no micro adjust to it. It has a solid clamp to secure the depth setting, while the Ridgid has a threaded rod with a quick release lever. It has the best of both worlds, micro adjust with the threaded rod, but the ability to quickly release the threaded rod to rapidly change your depth setting. The solid clamp to secure the depth setting is very similar to the Makita model. Both are similar in the ergonomics department. The Makita has a rubber overmold in the grip area, while the Ridgid has a rubber overmold at the top of the gripping area. Both are pretty comfortable to use, with the exception that Ridgid has this clear plastic window that has an air quote dust ejection port that really does nothing and at times can impede your grip and make it a little bit uncomfortable. They should have just made that solid. Maybe they have a future dust collection accessory to go there. Not 100% sure, but it is pretty useless. Changing bits in these units are very similar. Both include a collet wrench. Both have an arbor lock. The Makita unit has a 1/4 inch and 3/8 inch shank capacity, while the Ridgid just has a 1/4 inch shank capacity. Having the ability to put 3/8 inch shanks into the Makita is a big advantage. That always decreases vibration, chatter when you're doing a little bit more medium to heavy work with these smaller compact trim routers. At first glance, you'll notice the bases are a little bit different. The Ridgid on here has a square base, while the Makita has a circular base. Don't let that fool you. Ridgid also includes a circular base. The Makita unit has a black, non-transparent base. It's very smooth movement on nearly any surface. It has a square hole pattern for easy shop-made bases. And this base can take the portal cable size template guides, and that is a much desired addition to compact trim routers. The Ridgid unit has a clear base. It's wonderful for visibility. Just like the Makita unit, it has square hole patterns for easy shop-made bases. Dust collection is a huge advantage to Makita between these two units. The Ridgid unit does not have dust collection whatsoever. It's going to be a very dusty tool for you, besides cobbling something together or duct taping a shop vac to the unit itself. The Makita has an included dust collection port, and it has excellent dust collection when you pair it with a shop vac or dust extractor. The edge guide is included with the Ridgid unit. It has 2 rods that screw into the base and then adjust with 2 wing nuts. It is definitely cumbersome and would not make me want to use it. It certainly can get the job done. We've used it in the past in a pinch, but since bringing the Makita on board, we have used that for our edge guide uses. The edge guide and the circular base are the only accessories that are included with the Ridgid and currently that are all available. The Makita unit is the clear winner with a plethora of accessories. Included is the edge guide. It's fast and easy, but there is no micro adjust similar to the Ridgid unit as well. It has a trimmer guide, which we have misplaced, but that is used for trimming applications. The plunge base, it's an ideal accessory for the compact trim router. Gives this thing a lot of abilities and versatility in your shop. It also takes the template guides. It turns it into a solid platform to give the user control of both depth and cut with the plunge mechanism and side-to-side motion with the larger base and the 2 large handles. The user can lock the plunge mechanism with a black lever on the back side of the base. The threaded rod with scale contacts the rotating turret stops to fine-tune the desired depth needed. The quick release button on the front of the rod allows the user rapid movement of the threaded rod. The turrets allow the user to set a desired depth setting and use the turret rod to make those depths in multiple passes. When utilizing the plunge base, it has a debris shield on the front to keep the user a little bit safer, and then on the back side it has a dust collection port that wraps around the bit area for increased dust collection efficiency. 2 other bases that are available that we do not have in our shop are the tilting base. That's ideal for trimming thin boards and to utilize 1 bit to achieve different profiles. And then also the offset base, which is something new to me that I have never seen. It's ideal for hard to reach spaces such as countertops, kitchen and bathroom sink cutouts, etc. In conclusion, the Ridgid tool is a simple enough tool with enough features to make it a functional unit that is intended for the consumer that strictly needs an edge profiling tool. While it can do inlays, hinge mortising, and other light-duty tasks, we would recommend the Makita for those consumers that need that ability. While the Makita is a pro-grade tool powered by a world-famous battery platform, it gives the user much more options, accessories, and capability to be an extremely versatile tool that goes above and beyond edge profiling. If you're a consumer out there that needs a compact trim router and dust collection is very important, there is no questions asked. The Makita unit is the right one for you due to its very good dust collection capabilities, while the Ridgid has no dust collection at all. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that quick but thorough look at both of these brushless compact trim routers by Makita and Ridgid. We've done individual reviews on both of these, and links can be found in the description or a card in the corner. We've also done a storage cabinet for the Ridgid units that we have in the shop. That build video can be found in the link in the description and card in the corner. Follow us on social media as we do product review updates, project updates, and exclusive social media giveaways. I'm Andy Glass with Workshop Addict. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.